Dan Illman, Mike Beer taking a look at race number 10 at Churchill Downs on Saturday. Here's the field for the Grade 3 Locust Grove Fillies and Mares going a mile and a 16th. And Mike, it's tough to beat She Dares the Devil at Churchill Downs. She's 4 for 4 under the Twin Spires, including wins in the Kentucky Oaks and the Grade 1 La Troyenne earlier this year. And she's coming into this race off a nice win at Del Mar.
She really is. I mean, I can't say that I've always been her biggest fan, Dan, but I'm starting to come around. Her overall form is rock solid, and she was awful good last time, picking up another Grade 1.
And one of her great assets is her tactical speed. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. I do think Lady Kate's going to show speed, but She Dares the Devil will not be far behind. And if this pace projector plays out on the racetrack, I think Florence Giroux and Brad Cox will be very happy.
Yeah, that's probably a perfect trick for her right there, sitting up there on the pace with a horse who, Lady Kate's not bad, but she's not in the league of She Dares the Devil.
Crystal Ball, the number 1, might be a little bit underrated. She had a 3-race win streak snapped last time out in the Grade 3 Chuvy. We're going to watch that race, maybe some mitigating circumstances. This horse was 4 wide on the backstretch all the way through the turn, still fighting it out here under Luis Saez, and is eventually going to forge to the lead, only to be run down at the very end by Royal Flag. I thought, all in all, this was a pretty good effort considering the ground loss.
Yeah, I could go either way on this horse. I personally feel like the horse that was on the lead the whole way, the one, ran the best race in here and just happened not to win when she got a little tired at the end. But that horse, O'Reilly, just took a ton of pressure on the lead and just couldn't last. This horse ran fine. I respect the way that they're sort of bringing her along, Dan, after she missed all that time following that poor performance in the Alabama. I just like the way that they're sort of bringing her back, letting her find her way, back into action. And she did run a good race last time.
High Regard likes Churchill Downs as well. She is 4 for 12 on the main track here. She is 0 for 15 everywhere else. Late running third in the Groupie Doll last time out. I think she's in a little tough here. She's a rock solid sort of listed type. You get her into the graded stakes competition, it might be a little too much for her.
That's how I looked at her too. I mean, I think you kind of know what you're going to get from her here. She's going to show up and sort of run her typical race, and it's probably not going to be good enough to beat this field.
Lady Kate, Matera, High Regard, they all come out of the Groupie Doll. Let's watch Matera winning that race by a narrow margin over Lady Kate, with High Regard rallying for third. We see Matera on the outside. The pace held up in this race, Mike. You're going to see the gray Matera on the outside wear down Lady Kate. Maybe he could give High Regard some extra points simply for rallying to get a piece.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, these two were up on the pace together all the way. It's Matera who comes out best at the end. I thought Lady Kate ran fine, Dan. I did feel like she was kind of improving last year, towards the end of last year especially, and so maybe she can continue that development here as she goes second off the layoff. But I do think she has to take another step forward.
Lady Kate has run some nice races. Her second in the La Troyenne, she was never beating Monomoy Girl that day, but she really fought extremely hard. And I wonder if that race took some of the starch out of her. A couple of subpar performances against tough competition after that. Maybe the layoff did her some good, and perhaps she'll do better second off the bench. And Matera's all upside for Brad Cox. Beautifully bred horse. It's won 3 in a row. Envoûtante is up next. She has the ability to win a race like this, Mike. She got a little bit of a break after running third in the Fleur de Lis. Latruska was simply too much for her that day. No embarrassment for Envoûtante, but were you disappointed she couldn't get second? It looked like she had all the momentum and upper stretch to get that from Antoinette.
Yeah, maybe that's something to be concerned with. I mean, I'm not going to be too hard on her for that performance. I think overall she's, maybe the other horse that you want to consider if you want to try to beat the favorite in here. She's got some fast races. She's been, relatively close with She Dares the Devil a couple of times. I'm not completely sold on this horse, Dan, but I respect her in this field.
I wonder if our Super Freak's going to try to get forward under David Cohen, as she did last time out in the Molly Pitcher at Monmouth. We'll watch that race. That was a solid pace, and our Super Freak survived the pace. She's just not going to survive the closers. Graceful Princess, Bajan Girl. Graceful Princess will eventually get up. Our Super Freak, boy, it's tough that she hasn't won her race for these connections. They've put her in some tough spots, and she's run well every time just about.
It's very true. I mean, it's kind of amazing that she's 0 for 9 for these connections, considering how much she's improved since they've taken over. She's really held her own in some tough races. We'll see if she can finally get the top prize this time. I think it's going to be really hard for her to do that, but she's certainly in good form.
And here's the story of the race. She Dares the Devil. She's banked over $2 million. And here she is winning the Clementel Hirsch last time out at Del Mar at this distance. She just gets right into the race early. She relaxes very kindly for Flo. And then she just powers on home to win. And she beats a nice mare. Venetian Harbor might be a little distance challenge, but she's got some class, and She Dares the Devil's too much for her in the end.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, this wasn't a great field, and you're right that Venetian Harbor, who was sort of the main threat in there, probably doesn't want to go that far. It's still a nice win for this horse. Continues to go in good form. Again, I haven't always been her biggest fan, Dan, but I'm starting to come around. Her form overall is very, very good.
She is way the horse to beat as we take a look at our picks for the Locust Grove. That's where you're going to go. I think maybe Crystal Ball is worth a bit of an alternative. I'm not sure she'll be the morning line price of 8-1. I think she'll be a little bit less than that. But I think the wide trip might have hurt her a little bit, and I still think she has some upside. But it's all about She Dares the Devil. 7-5-1-3 for Mike, 1-7-5-6 for me in the Locust Grove, one of 3 races at Churchill Downs on Saturday that are graded. Good luck.